Hi guys, what's up? This is Harro Brouwer from Paragliding Chat. I know it has been a while since the first episode and I do apologize. As you perhaps know, I also produce a podcast about paragliding in Dutch. Paragliding Vliegpraat consumes a lot of my spare time, so choices have to be made. However, now for some exciting news. Paragliding Chat will continue with a new segment about paragliders. For many pilots, from novice to advanced aviators, choosing the right wing which suits your personal style can be a challenge. Which wing suits me and my preference, one might ask him or herself from time to time. For beginners, ENA, as well as performance and competition paragliders, the selection in wings and manufacturers is abundant and makes choosing the right one a proper and tough task. And although I can't give you an easy answer on how to select the perfect wing for you, via this new chat my aim is to ask as many paragliding manufacturers as possible questions about the characteristics of their brand and what they aim to achieve with their various models. And hopefully this will provide additional guidance when selecting your next wing and helps you to soar to new heights. So let's get right into it. This episode I have a chat with Sky Paragliders and Airdesign.
Hi, my name is Víta Richter and I'm working for Sky Paragliders. It comes from Czech Republic and I care about marketing and dealers communication.
Hi, my name is Artoosh. I'm from Turkey and working with the Sky Paraglider for a long time. My function, I'm test pilot.
Okay, since when does your brand exist?
We start 30 years with in 88.
88. It's based on the Slovenia. The first designer was located in Slovenia, and after a couple of years, the production started in Czech Republic.
So what kind of wings do you produce?
Well, we do all kind of wings, I could say. We have tandems, we have the PPG gliders, we have the acro glider, we do have mini wing, and then the typical range from A until the D.
Which target group do you have in mind when developing your wings?
So right now we know that in the A and B categories we are strong, and mostly like the schools are asking for the pilot, the glider that the pilot would like to push their skills up after beginner course. But our target for future is that we are coming with a stronger C very soon. We are going for the real D category glider in a two-liner to push the performance for higher level pilots.
What is your philosophy when it comes to making paragliders?
It's always that the pilot must enjoy their flight. This is for the first. So if we are in the category N and B, we are always heading to the passive safety that must be in top. And then in this sense, for us, it's the most the proverb for the company is happy pilots, and we are happy too. Means to just extend your airtime and get more skilled. So this is the most important things for us.
How do you classify wings within a certain class?
Right now, as you know, in the certification, we do not have a low A or high A, or we do not have such a low B or high Bs. This is how the pilots and the school, we try to name the gliders. We try to understand what the pilots need. So when the pilots start from the schools prefer to have a really safe glider to finish their beginner course and make a simple flights in the safest condition. But right after the course, the pilot would like to have the glider to learn thermal flying, to stay longer in the air, to make some different landing areas. So they need a glider which is, we call it like a A+ or the 2. That's why we have a 2As to push the pilots and make the performance more. Like right now, we just come with our IA2. It's a glider. We call it like a progression A glider for pilots who wants to face too many new things in the air, and they needed something like a safe with a performance.
Do you also take winching into account?
Yes, for sure. In Czech Republic, in Hungary, in many countries, in Iran as well too, they are using a towing system a lot. So we try to have always some tests by towing system that the gliders are easy to stay in a higher angle of attack or in the takeoff.
What do you see as an important future development?
there we have always a goal. It was that we want to stay in the like a certain of the certification. I mean, when we are talking about a C, we really wish that to have a real C for the pilots. So we know that the testing and certification is not enough for the glider. Is the test pilot just make some maneuvers and observing, but in the reality that we have a human factor. There is a pilots can make an overreaction. So when we are developing a glider, we try to understand really this kind of overreaction and to bring the glider to the hands of the pilot with a maximum safety and performance they could have.
Any further improvements that we may expect from your company? And perhaps you can name one point for improvement in yourself.
The thing is that the Sky Paraglider is something like 33 years located in Europe, and we are not producing in Asia. So we know that we are very strong in production, and we try to always stay in the highest quality that we could do. It's very expensive to stay in Europe, but still we are producing in Europe. So we know that we are very good in production.
Okay, but now you're saying what you're very good at, and I ask you,
the future is that to keep this quality for future. I mean, as you see, the COVID come, the raw material get more expensive, everything get more expensive, like inflation in Europe as well too. We don't want to move to Asia. We would like to keep the highest quality for future too.
Last question: how do you deal with complaints?
But the complaints, they're always taken in our attention because this help us grow for first, because if you have a feedback, any kind of feedback, the good one or the bad one, we have to consider, and then we build on it, our RD team build on it to go and make the improvement. So it's very necessary for us. But most of the time we really don't have bad feedback. There are always more notices about what they would like to have like futures. We never had, if I would say in a raw way, like this was shitty glider or harness and I don't want to fly anymore.
Or safety issues, any safety issues?
The safety issues is always good. There we never had some kind of notice like this would be bad reaction or something. And of course, if there is some complaint, we are in contact with the customer to ask him what happened, what does the mass air around, what was the condition, and is this really the hands of the pilot or is really the glider? We try to really point at this direction, and I would just like to mention our main design, Alexander Po, which is quite strict in all his way what he's doing. And he have enough self-critic to be able to really go out from any kind of mistakes.
I would like to add that this is not in all the brands that you can see the safety notices. The reality is that we are not like in the aviation. We are not like an Airbus or Boeing to make a few thousand of the air and make a lot of different tests to be sure about all the feedback. Even they could have some feedback after on. So we should see that the gliders mostly we test if we are in Europe or close by Europe. When the gliders go to the desert, maybe it can react, or the harness or the fabric can age in a different way. So we try to consider these feedbacks after the gliders age in a different, or the material shrink in a different way, to improve it for the future. In case definitely if we have some safety notice, we will share it with all our customers. And this is our duty to always keep the customers safe.
So this was the conversation with Sky Paragliders. Now straight to Airdesign.
Hi, hello, I'm Martin from Airdesign. I'm the owner with Stefan Stiegler. Together we own the brand. And we are from Austria, it's in Absam.
Since when does your brand exist?
Our brand exists now exactly 11 years.
And what kind of wings do you produce?
So mainly we produce all kind of wings, but the focus is lots of hike and fly wings. But of course also normal wings, but in all ranges. So we have beginner glider up to the sea glider, all in normal and lightweight cloth. As well special single surface gliders for the alpinists.
Which target group do you have in mind when developing your wings?
The main target group is for sure, people, they are active in the Alps or climbing or hike and fly. So it's lots of hike and fly, but also more like the cross-country pilots in the higher classes. And now we have the first two-liner in the C class. So of course we are also targeting this group of pilots.
What is your philosophy when it comes to making paragliders?
Our philosophy, if people check our website and they know us, they know our philosophy. So for flying, it's always our gliders are in the range, always good to fly. We don't want to over-demand the pilots. So the target is always the pilot should enjoy flying. It should be not stressful. So when we make the wings, they should be not too aggressive. We should have fun. Flying should be fun and not stress.
How do you classify wings within a certain class?
So we don't have, like two A wings, but because the A class is for us the beginner class, or for pilots, not beginner, it's just pilots, they want to have the safest equipment they can get. In the B class, it's different because this is a really wide range. So we separate this class in lower, so more for the pilots coming up from A to B, they fly the lower B class. But then there is the other group, it's the high B class. It's still B, but it's a complete different. So actually it's a class in between. If you fly low B and a high B, it's a class itself. Even it's in the B range, but the gliders are to handle different. For example, you can make an A glider. It's super safe, but it's impossible to fly in the thermals. This is possible, but the separation, people, it's the feeling you have in flying in thermals, and this is important, the sensations you get. So the low B, it's more a beginner glider, but the high B, it's really much more demanding, especially in the thermals.
So you actually say when you are coming from E and A, you shouldn't buy a high B.
I recommend to buy a low B. Of course, there are people, they fly a lot with the A-wing. Like they make the course, they have 60, 90 hours on the A-wing because they have lots of time. Some, they're very talented, they can handle a higher B. But normally I recommend the low B, stay safe and have fun. It's not the performance, you don't get the performance from the class, you only get the performance from yourself if you train a lot. This is more important.
Do you also take winching into account?
Yes, for sure, we take winching into account. There are lots of countries where they don't have mountains and they have to winch. And this we always have to test as well.
Because there seems to be fewer and fewer lines on gliders, leading to a higher load, I would say, and less suitable for winching, or am I mistaken?
No, like the new Volt 4, it's a two-liner. So, of course, we took it for winching as well. It was no problem in winching. But we know, these are the Ilrid 8000 lines, the Kevlar lines, they are not stretching so much. But there are wings on the market, for sure, they get lots of pressure on the A, and you have to check them. That's why glider checks are here for trim checks. Less lines means trim it earlier.
What do you see as an important future development?
I would say now the glider range you can get, it's huge. You have so many kind of wings, you have the single surface wings, you have the mini wings, you have the normal wings, you have the lightweight wings. The range is huge. So for some people it's already hard to choose what they want to get. It's already existing. I think what's important for the future, sure, we try to make the gliders always as safe as possible in its class. And for now, you have lots of choices. So future developments, we'll see what the future get. Now it's more like the two-liner in the C class. Maybe there will be two-liner in the B class in a few years. But, let's see what the future brings.
Any further improvements that we may expect from your company?
There is, as a company, there's always improvement. It never stops. You always, if you find the time, you can make improvements internally in a company to be more efficient. So, we're always trying to find some improvements.
And last but not least, how do you deal with complaints?
Sometimes, we get complaints from our dealers if a customer complains, but there's hardly any complaints, luckily, so we're happy. And if there's a complaint, we solve the problem. And it's sometimes for a certain reason, and sometimes, you have to handle every problem customer asks for.
Because I can also imagine sometimes it's also difficult for a brand because you don't know what happened to the glider.
Exactly, yeah. You know, they say, the glider got this, and then you check the glider got a rip just in flying, but then you check the lines and you see the line is not ripped apart, but you can see, he was pulling somewhere, and that glider doesn't break itself. It's load tested, it's shock tested, everything, so they're really strong. So something always happened. Some people tell the truth and some try to get just something on warranty. But this is our job to find out what's going on.
In the next Paragliding Chat, you will hear other brands in this section, so stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe to Paragliding Chat, then the next episode will automatically appear in your favorite podcast app. Till next time, safe landings, bye!